Hey Star Wars fans, my name is Prince and I'm an urban acolyte. And in this video, I'm going to take up the questions that you guys have been asking me about the Life Debt novel. Specifically, we're going to take a look at the relationship between Fleet Admiral Gallius Rax and Supreme Leader Snoke. So the best way that I can think to address this question is to tell you all a story. And this story is going to take place 60 years before the events in The Force Awakens. And at that time, Chancellor Palpatine is about 5 years into his term as Chancellor of the Republic. But none of that really matters because this story is going to take place about as far away from Coruscant as you can get in known space. It's happening on a little planet called Jakku, which is right at the edge of known space and unknown space. And this story involves a young boy who is around adolescent age, so he's somewhere between 10 and 12 years old, and he goes by the name Galli, but his full name is Gallius Rax. And we don't really know if Galli knows where he comes from or who his parents are. He appears to be an orphan who was born on the planet Jakku, and he lives among a community of anchorites. And an anchorite is like hermits or monks who belong to some type of religious order. And according to the myths of this order, they believe that the planet Jakku used to be much nicer than the desert wasteland that it currently is during the time that the Eremite lived there. And it's funny because Eremite, the term literally means someone of the desert, right? It's like a hermit or a monk belonging to a religious order who lives in the desert, right? So perhaps the Eremite was once the leader of their community or someone who they seek to emulate. And there's a possibility that they have some shared belief, maybe even a prophecy, that the Eremite will return one day. And maybe they'll restore Jakku to the tropical paradise that they believe it once was. And I'm telling you all of this information because it's important to realize that this is the tradition that Galli has been raised in, right? So one day, a traveler comes to Jakku, actually several travelers, and Galli sees one of the travelers, a man dressed in purple robes who we come to know as Tashu, who is an advisor to, at that time, Chancellor Palpatine, later Emperor Palpatine. And we know from other videos that this person is steeped in the lore of the Sith, even though he's not a Sith himself or even Force sensitive. And Galli unloads several droids. They set up an electronic perimeter and they begin an excavation project around this location, which coincidentally just happens to be where this anchorite community believes that the Eremite lived. Now, Galli, he stows away on the ship, and what happens, he discovers the second traveler on that ship, a man dressed in dark robes who demonstrates a taste of his power, his ability in the Force. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, this is Chancellor Palpatine in his true form as Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord of the Sith. And Palpatine gives Galli a choice. He says, I can either kill you right now, or you can return to Jakku with a destiny, with a new life as my assistant. You can serve me and participate in whatever this project is by guarding this excavation site that you saw us set up the perimeter around. And Galli, not really wanting to die, he takes choice number 2 to return to Jakku and serve the future emperor. Now we're going to jump ahead in our story 60 years to pick up with the events in Star Wars Episode 7. And the reason we're jumping ahead is because we need to know the aftermath of everything that I just described in the story. So by the time we pick up with The Force Awakens, that excavation site is beyond what the scavengers now call the Carbon Ridge. And at that place, It is believed that there is an Imperial base underground. There are people called the Dead Enders who wear scraps of Imperial armor, and they are still standing watch at that location during the time that Rey is on Jakku. Unkar Plutt once sent some of his thugs to scavenge that location, and they never returned. So is there an Imperial base down there? It's possible. And the reason I say that is because I think there was something down there. I think that Palpatine was aware of this being, this person that the Anchorites referred to as the Eremite. And the reason I believe that is because in the first Aftermath novel, Yuptashu mentions that Emperor Palpatine believed that the source of his power existed in unknown space, and he suggested that the Empire withdraw from known space, go into unknown space, because Palpatine had been sending researchers out there to set up labs and to seek out whatever this dark side presence was that he sensed in the unknown regions of space. I think that this possible research station on Jakku may have been some staging area for researchers, explorers to go into the unknown regions of space in order to explore and to seek out this dark side presence. Now, how does all of this relate back to Gallius Rax and a possible relationship to Supreme Leader Snoke? Well, right now we really have a gap in what we know. We don't know why Gallius Rax recalls the Imperial fleet to make their last stage on Jakku, but what I believe is that whatever there is going on in that research station, it was a key to seeking out the Eremite, to seeking out that dark side presence. I think that this was all a ruse for the New Republic to believe that the Empire was defeated so that they could withdraw into the unknown regions of space, so that they could go and seek out that dark side presence, that dark side power, in order to rebuild the Empire from the dark side as the First Order. Now, does this make Gallius Rax Supreme Leader Snoke? That question I actually can't answer. There's one of two possibilities. One, Gallius Rax could become some kind of prophet, a person who seeks out the Eremite, and the Eremite is Supreme Leader Snoke. Or maybe the Eremite has transcended the physical body, and Gallius Rax is going to sacrifice himself up as a physical host for the Eremite entity to take over his body, to basically possess him. So it's completely plausible that Gallius Rax could become some type of physical host for Supreme Leader Snoke, who is the Eremite. Or, like I said, he could just simply be the prophet who goes out seeking the Eremite that he's grown up hearing about from the Anchorites that he had to serve as a boy on Jakku. But those are my thoughts on life debt, the connection between the Eremite, Supreme Leader Snoke, and Gallius Rax. So with all that said, I'd like to hear from all of you. What do you think about the possibility that Gallius Rax could seek out the Eremite? The Eremite turns out to be Supreme Leader Snoke, and Gallius Rax becomes the physical host for Supreme Leader Snoke. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll be checking back for that. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an Urban Acolyte. I normally upload videos 3 times a week, but right now I'm in the middle of doing Vlogist, which is vlog every day in August, so I'll be uploading much more frequently this month. My next video will probably be a bit of a speculation based on a possible leak from Star Wars Episode 8 about Finn. So check back for that. As for this video, that's all I've got for now. So thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the Force be with you, always.